welcome to another exciting broadcast of WHHS Sports. I'm Nate Astrup.
And I'm Tyler Comiotti. For tonight's matchup, we have the visiting Conneaut Spartans and your very own Harvey Red Raiders. Let's get started with the starting lineups. For Conneaut, we have Brett Heinonen, Josh Anderson, Tim Church, Gabe Slay, and Tim Eschweller.
And for the Harvey lineup, we have Michael Baker, Kevin Alston,
Ivan Pinkett, James Thompson,
and
Zach Brubeck. The
Raiders had a very exciting game this past Friday, overcoming the visiting Riverside Beavers, the rivals from across the river. It was a very intense game, and the Raiders ended up pulling it out by one with nearly a last-second shot. About the last 10 seconds, Andy Booth had a nice spin move in the lane and hit the fadeaway jumper. So that momentum is really going to help us in this game. The last time the Raiders faced the Spartans, we weren't able to pull away with the win. But this game, I know we're really looking out to come out with a vengeance. The Raiders are expected to start in a 3-2 zone tonight and trap the Spartans with a 2-1-2 press. So hopefully we'll be able to force some turnovers and come up with some quick points that will hopefully get us out to an early lead, which we could really use against a tough Spartan team. Earlier this evening, the JV team came away with a huge victory over the Spartans, a score of 62-23. It was just an incredible game. The Spartans weren't able to accomplish anything, and the Raiders were coming up with some magnificent steals and capitalizing on the fast breaks. John D'Angelo Gymnasium very full this evening. Not nearly as full as we saw Friday night against the Beavers, with everybody in Painesville City and Painesville Township coming out to support their teams. Against Riverside, we saw a lot out of Morgan Lewis. Came up, he was a big leader for our team, but also out of Kevin Alston and Mike Baker, Zach Brubeck, and the big man down low, Chris Crawford, the sophomore. Everyone put forth a great effort, and we're able to come up with some last-second heroics.
Of course, you always see a lot out of Lewis.
Baker to jump for the Raiders.
In the Raiders' possession.
Ivan Pinkett bringing the ball up court, facing number 3. Into Mike Baker, who goes baseline, can't get that one. Number 33, Gabe Slay, comes up with the rebound. And the long pass into number 22, Tim Church. Speaking with Coach Starkey earlier today, he said that Church was really one that they were going to look to play some tough defense on tonight. And James Thompson loses his footing in the paint and gets called with a travel. Here we see the 2-1-2 press that I was talking about earlier. Josh Anderson finds Tim Church. Church from the paint, nothing. Zach Brubeck comes up with the board. Ivan Pinkett casually strolling the ball up court. And number 11, Josh Anderson, comes up with a big steal. Anderson with a pass from Church, and that ball is swatted by Mike Baker. And some of the padding against the wall has fallen down. Mike Baker slammed into it. Just fell over. Vote yes on issue 1. In a new school, that won't happen. And we've set it back up against the wall. Play will go on. Josh Anderson with the ball down low. Looks inside to number 54, Tim Eschweller. And Eschweller comes up with it and puts it up and in for 2. Spartans have taken an early 4-0 lead, 6:56 left in the first quarter. Zach Brubeck's found down the court. Baker with the ball on the wing. Brubeck for 3. Gets that one to go. Church over to Anderson. Ball's picked up by Ivan Pinkett. Sees Mike Baker wide open. Baker drives to the hoop. Puts it up and in, but whistle's blown. And Baker will have an and one situation, looking to capitalize on a three-point play, which could put the Raiders up by 2. The Raiders starting seniors tonight, this being the last home game of the Red Raider season. And Baker hits this. Puts the Raiders up by 2. Tim Church finds Eschweller underneath. Mike Baker comes up with a big board. Ivan Pinkett pushing the ball up court. Pinkett drives to the hoop. Throws it up and in. The athleticism on that play was just phenomenal. Pinkett flying through the air. Pulling the ball up, putting it down, and putting it back up.
This is Pinkett with the foul.
That foul was on number 11, Josh Anderson. Only his first of the game. Pinkett's foul shot, no good. Zach Brubeck almost comes up with a big board. Pinkett's able to pull it up and out. Finds Baker on the wing. Zach Brubeck from the corner for 3. Jumps off the back of the rim and comes back out. Josh Anderson finds number 5, Greg Jocelyn. Brett Heineman with the ball up top. Jocelyn kicking it back out to Heineman. Conneaut's really moving the ball around. They're not really looking to get anything going. The Raiders playing a tough 3-2 zone. They can't penetrate and get into the hoop. They're going to be forced to take an outside shot eventually. Watching the Spartans in warm-ups. When nobody's on them, they're able to hit a high percentage of their shots. However, with defense, it seems to be going the other way. James Thompson with a nice pass over to Kevin Alston. Alston with the pass over to Baker. Baker looks to Pinkett, but Pinkett's called with the travel. So the Raiders' 3-2 zone has been working for them. The Spartans haven't been able to penetrate at all and get to the hoop, which is just what the Raiders were expecting. Carl Elam finds number 33, Gabe Slay. Puts it up and in.
Ivan Pinkett with the ball. Passes to Michael Baker.
And Baker dribbling inside, kicks it out to Pinkett from the corner for 3. Gets that one to go. Pinkett, one of the main three-point shooters on our team. Very successful from 3 land.
And the score is 11-6 with 4 minutes and 35 seconds.
Elam finds number 5, Greg Jocelyn. Church with the ball in the corner, kicks it back out to Jocelyn. Over to Elam in the corner. Elam steps in, gets the ball stripped by Ivan Pinkett. Pinkett finds Alston. Alston has nothing to do with it. Baker saves the ball from going over and back, but throws it into the hands of number 33. Kevin Alston's able to break up the fast break. Checking into the game for the Harvey Red Raiders, Morgan Lewis and Andrew Booth in to replace James Thompson and Zach Brubeck. And for Conneaut, Tim Eschweller checks back into the game to replace number 22, Tim Church. Jocelyn with the ball finds Heineman. Jocelyn with the pass over to Heineman. Heineman steps inside, pulls up for the jumper. Well off. And Ivan Pinkett with the ball up top. Finds Morgan Lewis. Morgan gets a little bit of a bump from Elam. Lewis finds Baker up top. Baker over to Alston. Inside to Booth. Booth takes baseline. There's nothing there. Decides to kick it back out to Alston. Baker still inside. Alston with the inside jumper. Gets that one to go just inside three-point range right there. And Heinonen, getting trapped, finds Jocelyn. Gabe Slay's shot no good. Kevin Alston with the ball in the fast break. He's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot two. Oh, I'm sorry. He lost the ball out of bounds. Went off the Conneaut Spartans. Alston for three. Drains that one. And Carl Elam with the ball on the wing. Finds number 54, Tim Eschweller. Jocelyn for three. That one's well short. Pinkett with a long pass down to Alston. Alston kicks it out to Baker. Baker with a long cross-court pass to Lewis, who pulls for three off the front of the rim. Lewis comes up with a pick. Pinkett with the ball up top. Jocelyn going for the steal. Isn't able to come up with it. Mike Baker with the ball in the wing. Baker gives the ball off to Andy Booth. And an eager Gabe Slay is able to break up the Raiders' momentum and put the ball out of bounds off the hands of Andrew Booth. Heinonen strolling the ball up court. Carl Elam finds Greg Jocelyn. Eschweller back over to Heinonen. Eschweller from the paint, off the back of the rim. Morgan Lewis comes up with it, and he's called for a travel. Just got his feet going a little bit faster than the ball.
With a minute 50 left in the game, the Raiders are up 16-6.
And Heinenen's three no good. Ivan Pickett with the ball in the fast break. No look pass over to Kevin Alston. And Alston gets called with the travel. Raiders can't seem to keep their feet on the ground tonight. Still with a 10-point lead. Nearing on a minute and a half left in the first quarter. Heinenen out to Carl Elam up top. Over to Greg Jocelyn on the wing. Eschweller over to Heinonen. He's deep. Elam inside three range. Eschweller with the ball in the paint. Puts that up strong and gets it to fall. Ivan Pinkett facing Greg Jocelyn. And gets the long alley-oop pass to Andrew Booth. Eschweller with the ball up top, gets it over to number 5, Greg Jocelyn. And Heinonen dribbling around up top. Number 33, Gabe Slay's shot, no good.
Ivan Pinkett comes up with the ball.
Pinkett's passed a little bit behind Andy Booth right there, and the ball goes out of bounds. That'll be Spartan ball. Carl Elam to inbound the ball. Gives it off to Greg Jocelyn. Spartans working the ball around, and Carl Elam can't hit his three. Tim Church comes up with the board on the inside and puts that one up. The Raiders 3-2 zones working for them, then facing in keeping the Spartans to limiting the Spartans to the outside shots, but then the Raiders aren't coming up with the rebounds, which you also need to do. Morgan Lewis with the nice move. Inside jumper, just off. And that ends the first quarter. The Red Raiders on top, 18-10. Raiders defenses are working very well for them this evening. The 2-1-2 trap on the press has caused a few turnovers.
All right, and let's take a look at our sponsors. Conley Lumber,
CVS Pharmacy,
Joan Powell's,
Clark's Gas,
Talk of the Town Barber Salon,
Shep's Trucking,
Image Makers,
Pelutro Insurance,
Curves,
Silvestro's Depot Cafe,
New Hope Baptist,
Stars Cars,
Union Congregational Church,
and Fifth Third Bank in Cleveland. Thank you all very much for making all of this possible. Spartans will have the ball.
Josh Anderson,
Josh Anderson to inbound the ball from the side. Gets it into Greg Jocelyn. Jocelyn over to Anderson. Back to Jocelyn. Carl Elam with the ball in the corner. Tim Church with the ball in the corner. Spartans, again, faced with nothing but to pass the ball around the horn. Look for this defense to play into the end of the ball game. If the game becomes much closer and the Raiders need to stall. This has been doing very well at keeping the Spartans to the outside shots, and they haven't been able to, and they aren't, I think they just aren't confident enough. And the big alley-oop pass from Morgan Lewis to Mike Baker. Boy, we've seen one of those in just about every one of the last few games, and it's still exciting. Mike Baker easily gets up there and slams it home. Carl Elam with the ball on the wing. Josh Anderson, Greg Jocelyn. Elam in the corner. Pump fake gets Chris Crawford in the air. Gets it off to number 22, Tim Church, who puts it up from the paint.
Morgan up top, passes to Baker.
Baker inside to Brubeck. Brubeck kicks it back out to Alston. Alston drives to the hoop. Puts up the inside jumper. Can't get that one to fall. Crawford almost comes up the rebound. Ends up getting into the Zach Brubeck hands. And Brubeck is fouled on the shot. He'll get one more. That puts the Raiders up by 10, 22-12. Good persistency by Brubeck on that one. He had one shot blocked and was able to come up with another. After he followed his shot, came up with the rebound. Then hits his free throw, which moves the Raiders up by 11, 23-12. Heinonen over to Elam in the corner. Morgan Lewis picks off the long pass intended for number 11, Josh Anderson. Chris Crawford looks to pass to Brubeck. Brubeck from inside. Crawford comes up with the rebound, gets the ball stripped. Brubeck saves it, but it goes into the hands of number 22, Tim Church. Church with the bounce pass over to Elam. Elam wide open, banks that one in. Baker finds Crawford, who's cutting through the lane, and Crawford's able to put it up and in. Church with the ball in the corner. Loses it, Morgan Lewis comes up with it. And Zach Brubeck for three. Chris Crawford comes up with the tip and puts it in. And that's a timeout called on the Conneaut Spartans.
Let's take a quick look at our sponsors. Colony Lumber Company,
CVS Pharmacy,
Joan Powell's,
Clark's Gas,
Talk of the Town Barber Salon,
Shep's Trucking,
Image Makers,
Palutro Insurance,
Curves,
Silvestro's Depot Cafe,
New Hope Baptist,
Stars Cars,
Union Congregational Church,
and finally Fifth Third Bank in Cleveland. Just about to get back underway. 5:07 left in the first half. The Raiders up 27-14. Raiders playing strong defense this game. Not anything spectacular on offense aside from the big alley-oop dunk from Morgan Lewis to Mike Baker. But the big persistency in the defense.
Carl Elam returns the ball.
Josh Anderson finds Greg Heinonen. Raiders playing a tough 2-1-2 press. Eschweller gives it off to Anderson. Anderson over to Heinonen. He's deep in three lane. Elam with the ball in the corner. Bounce pass into Tim Eschweller. And Eschweller wedges the ball against the rim in the backboard.
And the ref calls a foul, and Tim Eschweller is going to take the shot.
That foul on the sophomore, Chris Crawford, his first of the evening. Eschweller's first is up. No good. And his second, also no good. Chris Crawford comes up with the big rebound. Morgan Lewis gets the ball into Kevin Alston in the corner. Alston with the pump fake, goes baseline. And the ball goes off Josh Anderson's foot, picked up by Kevin Alston. Gets a pass over to Baker. Lewis comes up with the ball and puts it in for the inside two from the paint. Anderson finds Elam in the corner. Heinonen with the ball on the wing. Anderson for a deep three. That's pretty short. He needed to be in farther. Baker with a long pass down to Alston. Alston looked to go baseline, cut off by Anderson. And Kevin Alston dribbles the ball on the line. Kind of John with the ref. He didn't really agree with that one.
Very unhappy with the call.
And
Josh Anderson will return the ball to play.
Alston's quickly seated to give him a chance to cool down. Baker comes up with the steal. The pass intended for number 31, Howland.
Passes to Pinkett, who passes it to Morgan.
Lewis with the inside jumper hits that one. Nothing but nets. And another timeout is called. Once again by the Conneaut Spartans. Spartans looking to figure out some sort of offense to break our tough 3-2 press.
And let's take another look at our sponsors.
We have Colony Lumber Company,
CVS Pharmacy,
Joan Paulwells, Bonita Smith, Chris Joyce, Good Luck Raiders,
Clark's Gas,
Talk of the Town Barber Salon,
Shep's Trucking,
Image Makers,
Palutro Insurance,
Curves,
Silvestro's,
New Hope Baptist Church,
Stars Cars,
Union Congregational Church,
and Fifth Third Bank.
Again, we thank you all very much for helping us out in everything that we do.
As play resumes, Ryan Howland will return the ball to play. Howland to Heinonen.
Heinen finds Anderson. Anderson's still on the other side of half court. Spartans very close to seeing a 10-second violation. And Howland is stuck in the corner. He's got nowhere to go. But puts it off the foot of Mike Baker. Only thing he really could do there, he was trapped. Anderson into Church. Howland finds Anderson in the corner. There's nothing there. And Tim Church comes up with the inside two. Ivan Pinkett has the ball, bringing it up across half court for the Raiders. Facing Anderson. Anderson playing tough defense.
Pinkett to Baker.
Pinkett for three. Just off the front of the rim. Good job following a shot on that one, though. Something we need to see more of out of the Raiders. Church for three. That one's overshot. And Morgan Lewis has the ball inside. Kicks it out to Mike Baker. Baker looks inside to Booth. Gets it into Booth once again.
Crawford
Ball rolls around. Crawford comes up with the rebound. Can't get that one to go. And in an effort to save the ball, number 11, Josh Anderson, goes flying into the stands. It'll be Red Raider ball. Mike Baker finds Chris Crawford inside. Crawford puts it up, but Tim Eschweller gets a piece of that one. Tim Church with the nice inside two. Pinkett slowly bringing the ball up court. We haven't seen any sort of press from the Spartans tonight. Look for that maybe in the second half. Hoping to get some turnovers. And Josh Anderson comes up with the rebound. Works it down the sideline, finds number 31, Howland. Morgan Lewis looks to swat Tim Eschweller. Eschweller's shot just beyond his reach.
And another timeout from the Spartans.
Spartans really calling a lot of timeouts in this first half. Just trying everything to break the Raiders' defense and accumulate some more points. Down by 11, 31-20, with a minute 38 left in the first half.
Let's take a quick look at our sponsors.
We have Colony Lumber Company,
CVS Pharmacy,
Joan Paul Wells, Bonita Smith, and Chris Joyce,
Clark's Gas,
Talk of the Town Barber Salon,
Shep's Trucking,
Image Makers,
Palutro Insurance,
Curves,
Silvestro's,
New Hope Baptist Church,
Stars Cars,
Union Congregational Church,
and Fifth Third Bank.
It'll be Red Raider ball to start play once again. And Ivan Pinkett gives it off to Morgan Lewis. Lewis working down the sideline. The ball is lost. Fans crying foul there. And the ref calling a foul on Morgan Lewis.
The crowd is very displeased with this call.
Boos are erupting from the throats of the Red Raider fans. Nobody happy with that one, but Morgan Lewis seems unfazed. He's not going to let it rattle him. Lewis is an emotional player, but he doesn't let people get into his head. He's got a strong mental game. Anderson with the ball, gets it over to Heinen. Anderson looks into Tim Eschweller. Andy Booth picks it off and drives it all the way down the court for the fast break. Foul called on the floor. That foul on number 30, James Thompson, his second of the game. And the Red Raiders will have the ball underneath. Kevin Alston from the baseline. Finds Morgan Lewis on the wing. Lewis kicks it into Booth. Booth with the inside, puts that one up off the glass.
The score is now 33-20 with 57 seconds.
Carl Elam with the ball, trapped on the wing. Jocelyn looks inside to number 33.
Comes up with 2 points.
And it's Gabe Slay comes up with the 2. And Morgan Lewis facing Tim Church. And that's a foul on the Spartans. Number 30, Carl Elam, with the hand check on Mike Baker. Morgan Lewis to inbound the ball from the sideline. Finds Ivan Pinkett up top. Pinkett kicks it into Baker, who kicks it back out to Alston. Baker saves the ball from going out of bounds. High pass inside to Baker. It's lost, and Baker gets the ball over to Andrew Booth, who puts it up from right underneath. He was wide open. Morgan Lewis strips it. Here we go. Oh, and Greg Jocelyn breaks up the Morgan Lewis dunk. That was sure to be a dunk. You could see Morgan looking. He could have had a reverse on that one. And that's a technical foul called. No, the refs have changed their mind.
What are you doing? You called it right over there.
Crowd is once again displeased.
Morgan Lewis going up for the dunk. You could see it that Greg Jocelyn really wanted to just do all things possible to stop any points coming from the Raiders. Maybe went a little bit too extreme on that one. Either way, Morgan Lewis is shooting 2. Fans really trying to get a technical. That one's really up to the discretion of the referees.
Lewis comes up with the shot, and it's good.
Checking in for the Spartans is Blake Batteridge in to replace Carl Elam. And Lewis's second shot, up and good. Boy, you could see Lewis wanted that one. And Pinkett with the long shot. And as time expires in the first half, the Raiders lead 37-22. Up by 15, the Raiders have played very, very tough defense. And Conneaut hasn't been able to crack anything. This evening we're going to see some out of the cheerleaders. It's their senior dance. However, they will be featuring everybody on the squad. Michelle King, Ashley Snyder, Ashley McLean, Chelsea Graham, Jessica Harlan, and Rissy Harlan.
Let's go to sponsors real quick.
You know what? I'm not sure we have sponsors. If we could just hold on. Not sure we have time for our sponsors right now. Let's just hold on. All right. Since we're already there, we have Colony Lumber,
CVS Pharmacy,
Joan Paulwells, Bonita Smith, and Chris Joyce.
Clark's Gas,
Talk of the Town Barbershop,
Shep's Trucking,
Image Makers,
Palutro Insurance,
Curves,
Silvestro's,
New Hope Baptist Church,
Stars Cars,
Union Congregational Church,
and Fifth Third Bank.
and I apologize. We did have plenty of time to get through our sponsors. And we thank you all once again very much for making all of this possible. You have no idea how much you are appreciated. And here, once again, is your senior dance featuring the Harvey Road Raider cheerleading squad. And that was the senior dance from the Harvey Red Raider cheerleading squad. The seniors on the squad, Marissa Harlan, Michelle King, and Ashley McLean.
We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the second half action of the Harvey Red Raiders versus the Conneaut Spartans. The Raiders currently have a 37-22 lead with 7:34 left in the ball game. I'm sorry, in the third quarter. Kevin Alston puts up 2 points from inside, and he'll go to the line to shoot one more. Alston coming up with some big points from inside the paint this evening. And he hits his foul shot, put the Raiders up by 18. Brett Heineman over to Josh Anderson. Into Tim Eschweller. Heineman over to Church. Ball picked off by Kevin Alston. Alston with the ball inside, goes into the paint. Looks over to Morgan Lewis. The ball's rolled around. And Alston and Heineman really fighting for that ball as it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Kevin Alston, and it'll be Conneaut Spartan ball. Anderson with the ball in three land. Gives it over to number 3, who gives it over to Tim Church. Tim Church gets called with the travel.
Pinkett brings the ball into play.
And the choice point guard of the Red Raiders brings the ball up court. Gives it over to Mike Baker on the wing.
Baker to Lewis. Bounces off his hands and goes out of bounds.
That'll be Red Raider ball on the side. Pinkett finds an open Alston. Alston with the ball up top finds Ivan Pinkett on the wing. Pinkett drives it into the lane, gets it into Chris Crawford in the paint. Crawford with the inside. Rattles off the back of the rim and jumps off. Crawford will go to the line. He's shooting 2. Crawford's a strong foul shooter for our team. Does well in each trip he makes to the line. Crawford hits his first. And the sophomore's second is up and good. Josh Anderson into number 33, Gabe Slay. Shot by Anderson from 3, it's no good. Ball goes off the hands of Mike Baker. And that'll be Spartan ball down low. Anderson gets the ball into number 54, Eschweller. Kicks it out to Heineman. And Anderson's 3 is no good. Morgan Lewis nearly comes over the board, but gets the ball stripped by number 54, Tim Eschweller. And Eschweller puts it in for 2. Ivan Pinkett with the ball on the wing. Steps inside, gives the ball off to Baker. Pinkett for 3. That one jumps off. And Morgan Lewis fighting for the rebound. Foul called on number 33, Gabe Slay, with the push. Pinkett will inbound the ball for the Raiders underneath. And Pinkett finds an open Morgan Lewis up top. With the no-look pass inside to Pinkett, and Pinkett's called for a walk. The refs have been calling travel a lot this game, but it's all been happening, so. Josh Anderson over to Heineman. Heineman back to Anderson. And these two are playing catch. Finally, Heinen gives it into Church. Church gets it into Gabe Slay in the paint, but Slay loses it. And it goes out of bounds off the hands of Chris Crawford. Church with the ball. And Josh Anderson for three. No good. The sophomore comes up with a big board. Ivan Pickett to Kevin Alston. Alston stuck in the corner. Finds Crawford moving through the paint, and Crawford puts it up and in for two. That moves the score to 44-24. The Raiders taking a commanding 20-point lead with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Eschweller over to Church. Church from the corner for three, no good. Crawford comes up with the rebound. And Morgan Lewis with the ball up top. Gets it into Pinkett in the corner. Pinkett takes the ball baseline. Bounce pass over to Baker. Baker in the opposite corner. Kicks it back out to Pinkett. And the alley-oop to Morgan Lewis, who slams it in with the two-handed jam. An exciting play from the Raiders. That's one thing the Raiders do very well, is see the court. Pinkett saw that Lewis was cutting baseline and threw it up. Knew Lewis was going to be there to slam it home. Heinen with the ball up top. Kicks it inside to Church. And Church puts it up and in for two and one called. He'll go to the line. And we have temporarily lost power to our camera. However, we're working on taking care of that as we speak. So now we'll just have some audio commentary. We have number 22, Tim Church, at the line for the Spartans. He'll be shooting one more shot. He's just made his layup. And we join you with picture once again. That's Tim Church at the line. And his shot, no good. Andrew Booth comes up with the ball off Josh Anderson. Baker with the bounce pass over to Brubeck. Baker with the ball on the wing. Finds Kevin Alston in the corner. Alston's three is blocked. And Alston goes down. Bounces right back up, though. Alston fouled on the shot. Ref signaling that he was inside the three-point line on his shot, so he'll only get two. He hits his first. I'm sorry, he was outside the three-point line when he was fouled, so he'll get one more. And Alston's third up, no good.
With that, the score is 47-26, Raiders in the lead.
4 minutes and 2 seconds left in the third quarter. Heinen over to number 30, Carl Elam. Elam looks to go baseline. And Heinen comes up with the ball, finds Tim Eschweller, who's inside, and Eschweller is able to put it up and in. Morgan Lewis with the ball, pushing it up court. Kevin Alston has the ball in the corner, goes baseline. Finds Brubeck in the paint. No good. Alston comes up with it, loses it, and Conneaut comes up with it. Carl Elam working the ball down court. Throws it up and just out of the reach of Morgan Lewis. Lewis was looking to really swat that one. Brubeck has the ball inside, kicks it over to Andrew Booth, and Andy Booth puts it up high off the glass. Kevin Alston picks the ball off and puts that one up. Excellent defensive play on Kevin Alston right there.
The score is now 51-30 with 3 minutes, 11 seconds left.
And Mike Baker picks the ball off from Eschweller. And Baker is fouled hard going up for the shot. We're seeing some tough fouls out of Conneaut. Conneaut already has a sort of a rough reputation amongst Painesville residents, and these two tough fouls that we've seen in this game haven't helped their cause at all.
Baker's first attempt is good.
Checking into the game is number 33, Gabe Slay, and number 55, Randall Blades. This is the first time we've seen Blades this evening, I'm sorry. And Baker's second is no good. Morgan Lewis hauls in the rebound. Ball is knocked out of bounds by number 33, Gabe Slay. And in for the Raiders, James Thompson and Ivan Pinkett. Raiders with 7 men on the floor. Finally, we get it straightened out. And Alston and Baker have a seat. Currently on the floor for the Raiders, we have Brubeck, Booth, Thompson, Lewis, and Pinkett. That pass looking into Lewis underneath. Goes off the hands of Conneaut, and Ivan Pinkett will inbound the ball from underneath. Zach Brubeck with the inside jumper, no good. Gabe Jocelyn. And number 33, Gabe Slay, puts up the inside two. Is fouled on the shot. He'll get one more. Raiders still up by 20, 52-32 with 2:51 left in the third quarter. The last time these two teams played, it was kind of back and forth between the Raiders and the Spartans. This game, it's been all Raiders, which is really good to see. The Raiders are able to pinpoint what they did wrong from the last time they faced this team and correct those through practice, and this game come out very strong. Jocelyn finds Elam on the wing. Back out to Jocelyn.
Lewis picks the ball.
Morgan Lewis picks up the ball and is fouled. That foul on number 33, Gabe Slay, the hold. The Raiders will have the ball on the sideline at about half court.
Thompson will bring the ball back into play.
Finds Lewis deep. Lewis with the ball on the wing. And James Thompson with the ball inside. Kicks it back out to Ivan Pinkett. That's a turnover by the Raiders.
Score is now 54-33 with 2 minutes and 13 seconds left.
Jocelyn with the ball just across half court. Jocelyn steps inside, gives it off to Carl Elam. And Jocelyn drives into the paint. The ball's picked off by Brubeck. Lewis with the ball, and he slams it in with the one-handed jam, cocking it back behind his head and slamming it home. And Lewis just looks at number 5, Greg Jocelyn, and says, yeah, that foul earlier, that was bogus. James Thompson tips the ball out of bounds off the hands of Carl Elam. And Morgan Lewis gets a break after his big dunk. Three new Spartans on the floor. They send out Josh Anderson, Greg Jocelyn, and Randall Blades. Number 42, that's Doug Sigley, comes up with the inside jumper. This is the first time we've seen Sigley tonight. Pinkett with a bounce pass over to Baker. Brubeck finds Thompson in the corner. He's trapped, gets it over to Lewis. Booth. Booth into Baker, and Baker throws up with the reverse layup. He's fouled on the shot. He'll get one more. I'm really impressed with the Raiders' play tonight. And Baker hits his foul shot. That moves the Raiders up 59-35.
1 minute left now.
Heinonen over to Church. Heinen with the ball just inside, gets it over to Eschweller in the paint, and Eschweller puts it up and in for an easy 2.
Pinkett travels up court.
Booth kicks it over to J.T. Thompson in the corner. J.T. Thompson, James Thompson. James Thompson looks to go baseline. And is fouled, so he'll go to the line. Spartans have reached their foul limit, which means every time Spartans foul, the Raiders will go to the foul line to shoot at least 1 and 1. Thompson misses his first, and Tim Eschweller, the big man, comes up with the big inside rebound.
Pinkett blocks the pass and knocks it out of bounds.
Tim Eschweller standing at a commanding 6'6" and weighing 200. He's really a formidable opponent under the basket. And a whistle is blown. Foul called on Zach Bruback with the push. That's his first of the game. He's in no trouble. Heinen trapped in the corner. Finds Church. Church takes it up strong. Nothing's there for him. Didn't have quite enough oomph on that one. Spartans will have the ball underneath as Church looks to inbound the ball. Nobody's open, finally finds Heinen. Heinen finds Elam on the wing. Back out top to Heinen. And Eschweller has the ball in the paint. Loses the ball. And number 33, Gabe Slay, just pushes Ivan Pinkett to the ground. It's starting to look more like a football game down there. So Pinkett will go to the line. He's shooting 1 and 1. His first is up and good. Pinkett gets one more. And his second just short off the front of the rim. James Thompson finds Baker, who's deep for 3. That one looks dead on, and it's good. Boy, Baker, that shot was just dead on, and he just drops it straight through.
And that ends the third quarter. 63-37, Raiders in the lead.
Raiders playing some very great basketball this evening.
Let's go to sponsors real quick.
We have Colony Lumber Company in Paynesville,
CVS Pharmacy,
Joan Paulwell's, Bonita Smith, and Chris Joyce.
Clark's Gas,
Talk of the Town Barber Salon,
Shep's Trucking,
Image Makers,
Palutro Insurance,
Curves,
Silvestro's,
New Hope Baptist Church,
Stars Cars,
Union Congregational Church,
and Fifth Third Bank.
Thank you all very much for making all of this possible. Your sponsorships are greatly appreciated. So we have a fresh 8 minutes to begin the final quarter of the basketball game. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Tyler Krimiati.
And I'm Nate Astrup.
The Raiders, in the last time they faced the Conneaut Spartans, weren't able to come away with a victory, but this evening seem to have come out with an entirely different style of play, with very few turnovers and extremely tough defense, and now have a 63-37 point lead.
Heinen has the ball in bounds.
Gets it over to Jocelyn. Jocelyn to Church. Heinen into the corner to Elam. And Jocelyn gives the ball to Church in the corner. Church going baseline. Gets all wrapped up by Zach Bruback. And Bruback is called with the foul. So Church will go to the line to shoot 2. That's Brubeck's 3rd of the game. Church hits his 1st. And his 2nd is up and good. Which brings the Spartans to within 24 of the Red Raiders. Kevin also with the ball in the wing. Back up to Lewis up top. Into Baker on the opposite wing.
Baker back to Lewis. Lewis
Long
back
pass.
to Baker.
And Lewis with the ball in the wing. Gets it into Baker in the corner. Who looks inside to Chris Crawford. Crawford with the spin and up and in. Jocelyn steps into the paint. That shot's no good. Morgan Lewis comes up with the ball. Long pass over to Baker. Lewis looks inside to Kevin Alston, who's cutting baseline, and Alston's able to put it up and in. Heinonen over to Jocelyn. Back to Heinonen. Heinonen into Eschweller. Eschweller kicks it back out to Carl Elam. Elam steps into the paint, fires, no good. Crawford comes up with a big board. Zach Brubeck gives it off to Morgan Lewis. Brubeck into Alston in the corner. Long pass out to Lewis. Lewis steps inside, kicks it over to Mike Baker on the wing. Back out to Lewis up top. Zach Brubeck in the corner. And Mike Baker with the ball at the foul line gives it off to Morgan Lewis up top. Back to Brubeck in the corner. Alston with the ball on the wing. Baker up top. Brubeck in the corner. Long pass over to Lewis. Lewis steps inside, goes to the hole. Throws that one up just off the front of the rim. And Tim Church drives the length of the floor. Loses the ball. And Morgan Lewis looks to save the ball to get to Mike Baker, but his feet came down just before letting go of the ball. The fans at Harvey not happy with that call, but I have to agree with the referees there.
Greg Jocelyn will bring the ball back into play.
Jocelyn over to Church. Church for the inside shot. Gets his 2 points. Morgan Lewis over to Baker on the wing. Lewis with the ball up top. Baker, long pass over to Brubeck. Alston gets the ball into Crawford. Crawford with the inside 2.
Now the score at 5 minutes and 35 seconds is 69-41. Raiders in the lead.
The Spartans just haven't been able to stop Crawford in the paint. Every time they get the ball, the Spartans just stand around looking befuddled.
Lewis.
And Morgan Lewis with the nice move. Gets everyone off him, and he just clears himself a path to the lane. Heinonen over to Jocelyn. Jocelyn into Church in the corner. Church steps inside into the paint to Eschweller. Eschweller puts it up, and Chris Crawford is called with the foul. Eschweller, a 2-year letterman for the sponsors. And Chris Crawford and Morgan Lewis will get a break. And to replace them, Mike Baker and James Thompson. Eschweller sporting a few tattoos this evening. One on his right arm, the other on his left leg. And Mr. Tattoo's foul shot is up and good. In to replace Eschweller is number 55, Randall Blades. Pinkett walks the ball up court. Now picks things up once he faces some defense. James Thompson with the ball on the wing. Looks to go baseline. And a whistle's blown. And Josh Anderson is called with the foul on the floor. However, the Spartans have reached their limit, so James Thompson's going to the line. Thompson's getting 2 shots.
His first is up, and it's no good.
Just off the back iron. And JT's second, up, and once again off the back iron. Josh Anderson pushing the ball up court. Nearly loses control, but regains composure. And number 31, Ryan Howland from the corner. His 3 is no good. We have some new faces on the floor for the Spartans. Number 55, Randall Blades. Number 31, Ryan Howland. And number 24, Ben Mortensen. Carl Elam at the line to shoot his foul shot. His first is no good off the front of the rim. Elam comes up with the ball, pulls that out in the corner. And number 31, Ryan Howland, his shot is no good. James Thompson comes up with the ball. Long pass down to Kevin Alston. Alston does all he can to save it, but the ball winds up in the hands of Carl Elam. Elam with the slight collision with the referee underneath. That foul was on number 32, Zach Brubeck. That's his 4th, so he's quickly picked up 3 more fouls just since about the middle of the 3rd quarter.
Elam's shot is not good.
Some deliberation going on between the referees and the scores table. Carl Elam has the ball at the free throw line. And his second is up, and he hits his second.
Pinkett at half court.
Kicks the ball into Alston in the corner. Pinkett up top to James Thompson. Thompson drives to the hoop, throws that one up, no good. Brubeck comes up with the board, no good, and a mauling going on underneath the hoop. Spartans come up with it, and Carl Elam brings the ball down court. Randall Blades with the ball in the paint, loses it on the shot, and Ivan Pinkett comes up with it. Pinkett with the inside jumper, hits it.
That's 37-45 Raiders. 3 minutes and 34 seconds left.
And at the next dead ball, we will see the younger talent of the Red Raiders. We'll see a whole new squad. Kevin Alston with the ball, brings it up to the wing. Pass intended for James Thompson. No good, picked off by Carl Elam. Elam over to number 31, Ryan Howland, who loses it out of bounds. And we are seeing a whole new Red Raider squad, but an excellent job goes out to the Red Raiders, which we've seen this far, and Kevin Alston, Zach Brubeck, James Thompson, Andrew Booth, and Morgan Lewis, along with Ivan Pinkett. Now on the floor for the Raiders, junior Phil Rogers, freshman Scott Aston, the only freshman dressing on the varsity team. Sean Carmody, a junior, and juniors Adam Bollinger and Mick Rowan. Carmody with the ball in the wing. Over to Bollinger. Bollinger up top. Steps inside, gives it off to Aston. Aston gets it into Carmody. And the foul is called, so Aston's going to the line.
That was very well played by Sean Carmody and Scott Aston.
We're looking at a double bonus situation, so Aston will get 2 shots. His first off the front of the rim. And a substitution for the Spartans. Number 14, Blake Betteridge, coming in for Randall Blades. Aston's second foul shot. Rattles around and jumps out. So Elam opts to give the ball off to Jocelyn. Jocelyn over to number 31, Ryan Howland. Elam with the ball, drives into the paint. And Elam's shot, no good, but he's fouled on the shot, so he'll be shooting 2. Elam's been going to the line a lot this evening. Only hitting about half of his 3 throws. Missing his first, not happy with himself there. And Elam's second is no good. Sean Carmody comes up with the board but loses it to number 31, Howland. Phil Rogers comes up with it and gives it off to Scott Aston. Aston kicking the ball down court. Drive to the hole. Gets the ball stripped by number 5, Greg Jocelyn. Jocelyn with the no-look pass over to Howland, and Phil Rogers comes up with the block.
That was a beautiful block by Phil Rogers.
Apparently the ref saw more of a foul than a block there. And Howland will go to the line to shoot 2. Good defensive play by Phil Rogers there, though. Howland's first is up and good.
It's great to see some of the less experienced players come out and play.
And they love it, too. And Howland's second is good. Spartans now applying a press. And Aston nearly loses it to number 5, Greg Jocelyn. Aston crosses him up. Gets it over to Phil Rogers in the corner. Rogers kicks it back out to Aston. Aston for 3. That one's well short. Carmody tips the ball over to Bollinger. Bollinger with a high pass over to Phil Rogers. Rogers loses the ball to number 31, Howland. And Howland drives the length of the floor, can't get anything. Sean Carmody comes up with a big board. And he's fighting off number 24, Ben Mortensen. Carmody finds Mick Rowan cutting through the lane. Mick Rowan just gets thrown out of the way by number 14, Blake Betteridge. Raiders running a stack inbound play. Aston drains his 3. And Howland gives it off to number 5, Jocelyn up top. Jocelyn into Mortensen. Blake Betteridge fires for 3, nothing's there. Mick Rowan comes up with a big rebound. And Sean Carmody tips in his own shot and gets that one in. Credit Scott Aston with an assist there. And number 14, Blake Betteridge, puts up a 3 over Adam Bollinger and gets that one to fall. Ball out of bounds off the hands of Carl Elam for the Spartans. Now under a minute left in play, the ball game. The Raiders up 78-50. Very high scoring basketball game. Raiders up by 28. Aston fires another 3, this one off the back of the rim. Aston follows the shot and gets it up. And Adam Bollinger puts up the 2.
Beautiful play.
Big Country Bollinger gets his 2 points. And the reserves are playing their hearts out down there. Jocelyn looks into number 24, Ben Mortensen. Jocelyn fires for 3. That one's off the front of the rim. Scott Aston tips the ball away. And who's going to come up with it? Finally, number 52.
Both teams scrapping for the ball.
Phil Rogers comes up with a big rebound. And a foul is called. Phil Rogers will go to the line to shoot 2. Rogers first high off the back of the rim, no good. And Phil Rogers second off the front of the rim. A little too much of adjustment. Phil Rogers spins into the lane, shot no good. Adam Bollinger comes up with a clean up and puts it in. And everybody on the Red Raider bench just very excited to see that one. And that's the end of the ball game. The Red Raiders come out with a victory, 82-50. Phenomenal game played by the Raiders, as last time they weren't able to overcome the Spartans. This game came out with a complete turnaround and were able to come up with a 32-point lead, which you don't see very often, if ever, in high school basketball. So that ends the ball game. Raiders took an early lead and never looked back.
Let's take a quick look at our sponsors before we wrap this up.
First, we have Colony Lumber Company.
CVS Pharmacy, 9040 Menor Avenue, 305-2557. CVS Pharmacy, where the customer comes first.
Joan Paul Wells, Bonita Smith, and Chris Joyce. Good luck, Raiders.
Clark's Gas, 201 Richmond Street, 354-0870.
Talk of the Town Barber Salon at 301 North State, 354-6415.
Shep's Trucking.
Image Makers at 9201 Menor Avenue, 255-8444.
Belutro Insurance, 161 North State Street. Painesville, 44077. Celebrating 50 years of service.
Curbs at 53 South St. Clair in Painesville, 357-7190.
Silvestro's, 470 Railroad Street, Painesville, 354-3851. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe.
New Hope Baptist Church at 428 West Jackson Street in Painesville, 357-8277.
Stars Cars, 2761 North Ridge Road, Painesville, 350-9270.
Union Congregational Church at 10959 Johnny Cake Ridge Road in Concord, 440-352-3556.
Fifth Third Bank, 1404 East 9th, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
And once again, the Raiders come up with a big victory tonight over the Conneaut Spartans. On that, we'll leave you. Stay tuned. And that's all for tonight. I'm Tyler Conneaut.
And I'm Nate Astra.
Stay tuned.